Okay, we have the little Gator for the girls, and they're having a lot of traction issues working around in our yard. So I found that the best way to get traction is to get one of these Bell Kids bike 16-inch wheel by 2.125, and then cut enough of it so that you come up to this area here, and it just wraps around, as you can see here, as one piece, so you don't have to make any other cuts. As you can see, you can keep it as one continuous loop that will fit right around the wheel, and then we can use some screws to fasten them in place. Another thing that I found is there's a nice little lip for you to put jack stands under, so you could work on these things real easily when you're doing that kind of stuff. And like I said, we have some big property where the girls like to tool around and they just can't make it up the hills and get some traction in some areas that have loose dirt. So this will help out quite a bit. One of the best ways to get started on this is to use a knife and then cut a little slit in here, because right here the bead has a steel ring in it and it's hard to cut across here. So the best thing is to just get a knife, make sure you watch out for your fingers, and make a cut downward to be able to get some good kitchen shears in there. And that's what I found works the best, is some good old kitchen shears. And then I like to work counterclockwise because I'm right-handed, and I just follow the line. So just keep cutting around that line, and that'll give you the right diameter so you could slip it over. I think it's like a 14-inch wheel, and this is a 16-inch tire that would be going over that 14-inch wheel, so you can go the whole width of the traction area, and then we'll fasten that with some drywall screws or so on. I won't bore you with cutting it like that, but I'll do both sides that way and then get it ready to go on the car. One of the things that I will caution you about is with this added traction, if the child doesn't know to fully stop before going from reverse to forward or forward to reverse, you could shear the plastic gears. So do teach them to come to a full stop before they go from forward to reverse. And then when they are trying to stop, to try and slow down unless need be. The teeth should be able to take it, the gear teeth, but you just want to teach them good mannerisms and good driving skills, so that they should come to a complete stop before going to reverse, and then complete stop before going to forward, and that will prevent you from having gear damage in the transmissions for these little Gators. All right, I'll finish this off and then we'll get back to the second stage. All right, so now I'm going to attempt to put one of these tires on now that I've got it cut. And the reason I went with this white tire is because it was only 10 bucks for each one of these on Amazon. The others were all like around $19. So it was a lot more money to get invested for the girls' little toy. And so I didn't want to do that. This was a better way to go for the price range, and if it didn't work out, it would be no harm, no foul. It's only 20 bucks that I end up spending instead of 40, because most of the other ones I saw were like $20 a tire. So these were nice and cheap. As you can see, I'm just rolling the tire as I'm doing this and getting it on. Just kind of push back and turn till it kind of centers it, and you could do the center of the crease in the tire to the wheel. And once it's on, you'll notice there's high spots and low spots on this tire right in here. And you're going to want to put drywall screw or some type of metal screw into the high spots, and that'll hold this in place. You don't need to go to town on a lot of stuff. These things don't have that much speed, and they're not going to go that far. So I'm going to get the other side on and then drive some drywall screws into this, and we'll call it a day for this. Before I get started on this, you might be asking, well, why use a drywall screw versus a deck screw, which would be better for weathering? And you could notice that drywall screws have teeth almost all the way through. So they'll grab into the tire or into the wheel and the rubber and remain clamped down, where versus you see how much space there is here. This plastic wheel is not that thick. So once you get past there, you're going to have a loose connection and it's not going to hold very well. That's why I would recommend using a drywall screw, because it's going to grab almost all the way through the rubber and still maintain grip on the plastic wheel. So that's why I'm going with the drywall screw. And yes, it's going to rust, but so what? We can always replace it. Okay, as you can see, I got it centered, and you can try to get it really as good as you can. What you want to notice is these high spots. You want about the same distance. There's going to be the low spots too, but just kind of have it centered so that you get the same amount of high spot here as you do here. And this drywall screw is going to go into a high spot. And you want to try and make it so that the drywall screw is into this rubber, into the rubber, and stays on rubber and not going over into a half on, half off. So as you go along, just kind of keep centering it. I'll do this one right here, and then we'll go from there. So right here, we'll just put one. There we go. As you can see, that's how it'll look when it sinks in. All right. As you can see now, I got both of them done. And yes, there's a little give and movement and just the friction from the mass, and these screws keeping things in line will keep this all on board. And I'm going to let my daughter try it out, and then she'll give us feedback as to what she thinks. Yes, go for it. And as you can see, it goes like stink. Don't look back, just look up, go up the hill. No problem. She used to get stuck on this all the time. Now we'll see if the traction is working to get her out of it. There we go, up the hill in level 2, non-stop.